Hi, I'm Danny,
I'm Sam.
and this is Business in a Brew.
We'll be poring over business stories,
And talking about things that interest us in the world of business.
so we'd like you to just take a few minutes out, listen.
Yeah, we'd love it if you join our conversation with us. Yeah.
Sorry, we just looked at each other on cue. Hello.
Yes,
Right.
I'm ready.
Hello.
Go.
Right. Okay. You might remember that a few episodes ago that we talked about kind of incidents at work, or an incident at work that resulted in death. Not quite day to day, but certainly in the UK, there's what we think is probably too many people that die in work-related incidents under all sorts of circumstances, just literally going about their personal work life, and some is down to stupidity, no doubt, but some is down to no fault of their own.
Just not the systems in place.
Yeah, or can be
Really
just
unfortunate.
randomness. Yeah.
Is it like in that film where they get on the plane and then they have to get off the
Final
plane?
Destination.
Yeah. Do you think death's chasing them?
Some of that, maybe. Yeah.
Sorry, I've interrupted your serious topic.
No,
But well done for knowing the
serious
film.
topic, but as ever, you put a spin on it, a light-hearted spin on it. Yeah. Considering the subject matter.
Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
you
Death
know,
at work.
zip it for a bit.
Sorry.
But death in the workplace, carries a particularly heavy meaning when you consider they might go off to work in the morning with all sorts of plans for the evening or the next day, next weekend, whatever, and they don't come home.
It's really
It's a really, really horrible idea,
Yeah.
So kind of, maybe if anything, we just all need to take care.
Say I love you before you leave the
Yeah,
house
yeah,
every day, that
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've got a few stats here, but they're about UK fatalities, and the actual workplace cases reported to the Health and Safety Executive. And they don't include commuting, so commuting to work
Okay.
or from work isn't considered.
So it's just literally while you're on the
Or
job,
flying,
so to speak.
because that's under the air transport.
So no travel. Okay.
Yeah. And at sea.
You're making it sound like there are 4 million billion times more deaths
No.
than you're going to tell me about.
No. As
Okay,
we know, air travel is probably the safest form of travel, probably followed by water or maybe walking. Anyway, I laughed then
So
you
no
didn't.
fart machine might
But,
fall on your head.
Yeah, because they're covered by different departments, so
Fine.
marine accident safety and air accident safety. That's not their acronyms, by the way.
Okay.
But other countries' stats that I'm going to report may actually include those, because they might be all under one, so it's not necessarily clear in some. But actually, like America, transport actually does fall under this.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so the taken from the HSE website, the stats for 23-24, most common kinds of fatal accidents were falls from a height. There were 50.
And there are loads of regulations for that, and people ignore them. Like when you see like engineers going up those poles in the street, and they're not fully equipped to go up the pole.
Really?
Like you've got a load of stuff you have to wear and clip on and stuff.
Yeah.
But you see people
going up a pole in the street, you're only going to fall 25 feet.
Well, it could still hurt.
Yeah, it could, and you might actually fall on someone.
Or your head.
Yeah. Well, I know someone who paints towers and masts and antennae, and they are absolutely
The grade things.
Yeah,
Oh.
like pylons, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's a job.
As a job, yeah.
Someone paints those
Very
things.
highly specialised job, yeah. It's not just slapping paint on, yeah.
I used to know someone that watched paint dry as a job. He was a Q quality person, and he used to literally watch paint dry. Sorry. It's unrelated, it just made me think of it. Yeah.
So you couldn't even read? Couldn't read?
No, just literally had to watch paint dry.
Just had to watch the
paint dry, yeah.
The second one was moving vehicle, struck by a moving vehicle. 25 deaths. Struck by a moving object, which isn't necessarily a vehicle. Could be
like
something
a piano.
swinging on a crane.
Oh.
Piano.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Making a light-hearted subject out of a very long light-hearted subject.
and then basically those three account for 70% of all deaths that occurred in the.
This is why I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
That stuff can't happen to me in the office at home.
No.
There's no car in there. There's no swinging anything.
But then there's also trapped by something collapsing or overturning.
Horrible.
Just the thought of it. And then contact with moving machinery. So that's different to a moving object.
Like putting your hand in a sausage grinder.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And would it surprise you to know that I think it's 95% of workers fatally injured were men?
No.
Because they're the ones that are coming into contact with all of those things, aren't they?
Well, it's also the ones who, let's be honest, are like, nah, I can do it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women are more like, that doesn't seem very sensible.
But also, and here's a really sad statistic as well. Not that they're not all sad; they're all terribly tragic. Is that deaths to workers aged 60 and over account for a substantial proportion of the total. 34% of that number. I don't know.
Why do you think?
Yeah.
They're paying less attention. Their eyesight's not as good.
Hearing might not be so good. There might be a certain amount of being blasé or
because they've done it for 60 years. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, complacency. I'm not suggesting any of these were as a result of that, but just think about because HSE don't break that down into he was distracted by something else.
A pigeon flew at his face or something.
Yeah. And if we look into the workers' industries,
yes,
fatal injuries in certain industries. Can you have a guess?
What the worst industry is?
The worst industry would be?
Something where there's a lot of the railway industry, as in working on the railways, not travelling on the railways.
Well, you could. Well, that's not about. That's 11 of those.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Okay, it was actually construction.
Oh, that makes sense.
51.
You got a lot of heavy stuff and a lot of stuff falling and
swing.
It's not always screwed in properly and stuff.
Bury, all of that.
That was my extensive construction knowledge. It's not screwed in properly. Yeah.
No, correct. And
that makes
also
sense.
Electrocutions, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But agriculture,
fun quiz.
Agriculture, forestry, and fishing. 23.
Is it those carp? They really come after
the heavy ones.
The heavy carp, yeah.
Yeah. Manufacturing, then 16. So that ties into that.
That's a very generic word. Manufacturing what?
Well, manufacturing bread.
That's true. It's a dangerous industry. Yeah.
Anything, because there's a lot of presses, moving machinery, conveyors, admin and support services. 12.
12.
Yeah.
Go back to the list of types of injury. Sorry, causes of death. Out of curiosity, which one of those are admin and support services exposed to?
Trapped by something collapsing or contact with moving machinery.
Really big bookcase.
Well, I was thinking about a fax machine, someone's tie going into a fax machine.
You've watched way too many films from the 80s. Mostly because no one has a fax machine anymore.
They don't have fax machines anymore. No,
maybe they did that thing at the Christmas party where they sat on a photocopier with their bum and then it broke and they got glass shards in it and then they got blood poisoning. Foolish life choices.
Oh dear. So that's it's fairly exhaustive, this list. It doesn't break it down hugely, but transportation and storage.
But like construction and manufacturing makes sense.
It does.
Very disorientated by admin and support service.
Well, that can fall.
You've got forklift trucks. You've got massive containers, racking spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wholesale, retail, motor repair, accommodation, and food is 9. So you kind of bring that in. So
knives and ovens.
Yeah. Lifts collapsing in a repair shop for a car. Wholesale.
Oh, that'd be horrible, wouldn't
it?
It's minding your own business.
Retail could bring into it possible robberies.
Yes, other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then waste and recycling. Oh, I
don't even want to think about that now.
Yeah.
That's like the toys at the end of Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
They nearly got wasted.
They did.
That was sad. I cried.
They did. Yeah. Now, there's been an increase of 2. That's 1.5% on prior year.
Okay.
Which actually nets down to 0.42 deaths per 100,000 workers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hurts my head, but yeah, all right.
I know that's a horrible thought.
That's quite a lot of people per 100,000
Yeah.
workers.
Yeah. Now, if you contrast that against a developing nation like India, yeah,
where they
do you
have
think
less
that,
health
do you
and
think that number's
safety.
going to be higher or lower?
I can't remember the name. You did play your cards right, but I was going to call you that, and now I can't remember what his name was.
Used to do Strictly.
Len Goodman? No. Oh, no. Oh, Bruce.
Yes,
Bruce Forsyth.
Bruce Forsyth.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the moment's gone now anyway. But I think it's going to be higher because they have a lot less health and safety rules.
Yeah. So the original number for the UK, I think, was 138 for last year, this year, 23-24. India had 463 work-related fatalities last year, which is down.
Yeah, but that's percentage of population. So we've only got.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna come to that.
Sorry.
So
excited
down
by the
from
statistic.
587.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2022
Yes.
financial year. That's still more than one death a day, right? Now that's actually 0.92 deaths per company. Per 100,000 rather. No, actually it's per company that. So the number of companies in India, 0.92 deaths per company, down from 1.17 in 2021. But why I said company is because these are only the companies that are in the Nifty 500, which is the Indian Stock Exchange.
So there could be thousands and thousands of tiny little businesses, sweatshops, whatever else.
Yeah.
I wonder if they report their deaths.
These Nifty
as well.
500 companies all have boards of directors, and they're all.
So they should have all the structures in place to stop this kind of stuff happening.
But then also India has, by comparison with the UK has 65 million, getting on 70 million. India has 1.45 billion people.
So as a percentage, do they have less workplace deaths than we do?
It's looking like it.
I don't do maths.
No, I don't think so, because that's the top 500 companies. So
I
there's
see.
a whole
I see what you mean,
unknown figure. And the data is from the Institutional Investor Advisory Services.
Easy for you to say.
I know, it rolls off the tongue, which is basically for direct employees only. It doesn't include outsourced labour or temporary workforce.
Unregistered labour.
Children.
Yeah. That didn't need inverted commas.
Yes.
They are children.
Yes. Didn't need inverted commas.
No.
But stack that against the USA. Do you think the number there is higher or lower?
I don't know, Bruce. I think the number in America is going to be higher for reasons I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. Well, the figures are they dwarf India,
which is ridiculous because that's a developing nation with a lack of.
Yeah, but of course there's all sorts of hidden stuff going on there. Yeah. Okay, that's stuff that we can't account for. But they have a population there of over 330 million in the US.
Yes.
But from the Bureau of Labour Stats report for 2022, 5,486 workers died from work-related injuries.
You added a whole other zero on it.
I did. It's 10 times. Yeah.
Oh, I don't go work in the States.
Yeah. So 5.7% increase from 2021 if you look back over the last 10 years.
I wonder how many more of those are retail.
4,000 to 5,000. I'm going to come to that.
Ooh,
because actually I already
it's like I know
did
what
that.
you're going to say.
Yeah, that's quite amazing you should ask.
Thanks.
It does mean that a worker died every 96 minutes from a work-related injury in 2022. Well, I can't.
That's like that statistic that a baby's born every second, but worse.
But worse.
A lot worse.
Yeah. So transportation incidents remain the most frequent type of fatal event, accounting for 37.7% of all occupational fatalities. But you did
say at the beginning that it includes transport to and from work.
Well, I don't actually know if it is transportation, because
Fair
transportation
enough.
was actually in ours as well, but it doesn't actually.
It could be transportation within the work environment, like around the building or whatever. Yeah, okay.
You just think about how many more vehicles there are in America and how much more road and how much, all of that. Of course, they're figures I couldn't get to. I'd have bored everyone's senses as well. So another sad stat is, going back to the retail thing, a quarter of the deaths reported appear to be due to homicides occurred whilst a worker was tending a retail establishment or waiting on customers.
That's horrible.
I know.
You just want to make your money
shop
working
and
at your
restaurant
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
You could just offend the wrong person.
Yeah.
Oh, that's made me sad. You made me sad today.
But we have people moaning about health and safety's gone mad.
What's the one thing, like, what was the one rule for podcasting that I told you?
But don't do accents.
Don't do accents. Yeah.
Right.
What did you just do?
Okay.
You did.
I did an accent.
Really bad accent, yeah.
Yeah, but that thing of 0.42 deaths per 1,000 in 2022 against 3.7 per 100,000 in America, it really just.
But it goes back to what we've said before. You can put all the paperwork in place.
Yeah.
Because you look at US, that's got paperwork in place.
Yeah.
People don't pay any attention to it. I mean, the homicide's a little bit different. You can't legislate for that.
That's over a third. Yeah.
And you can't write a procedure for that.
Yeah. No. Well, no, you can't. You can't. But what I'm saying is that if anyone thinks that health and safety's gone mad in the UK, actually we're doing pretty well. We have a very, very small number of deaths per 100,000.
Yeah, so stop moaning about filling out your accident form.
Yeah, and just take a little bit more time.
And put your hard hat on.
And I don't want to be trite, but just be safe and think about your work colleagues, really.
You should be the voice of the health and safety executive.
Yeah, I should be.
I don't want to be trite, but be safe.
with the look that you just gave me like that.
With that look, yeah. It was a really meaningful look. I was trying to get your point across for you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Right. Yeah. So do you have anything else that you want to say to all of that?
No, because you've just depressed me.
Oh, well,
I
think that's less
people.
less depressing against those two other countries I've cited. I could have gone into everyone around the world, but I just thought it'd be just interesting developing and fully developed countries.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. It was very interesting. I liked your statistics, thank you.
Maybe fewer statistics next time.
No, I like the statistics. You can bring all the statistics, it's fine. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much for listening and being a part of today's episode.
If you like what you've heard, or if you feel there's something missing, or you want to ask any questions, please get in contact.
And if you love listening to us as much as we love talking to you, subscribe, download, leave us a review. All the love helps.
Thank you.